everyone, and welcome back to Get Into It Beauty TV. As you see by the title, this is going to be a watch me work / tutorial video of my plucking technique. Now, while the reason I say it's a watch me work is because I originally didn't really plan to record this and actually come up with some content for this wig, and I'll tell you why later on in the video. But basically, I just want to go ahead and get into how I pluck just so y'all can see it. And then I will later on drop a video of a more in-depth tutorial, or I'll say a better quality video with a better quality wig and stuff like that, so y'all can be able to see how I do what I do. So anyway, right here I'm starting off in the side near the ear tab of the wig. I always kind of start off on that ear tab section, either side, it doesn't matter, and everything. But I'm starting off plucking directly on the very front of the hairline. I pulled this wig, was actually, I custom colored it and everything like that. It was a 613 colored wig when my client first gave it to me and everything, and I custom colored it for her and everything. So this wig was wet. I pluck on wet and dry hair. It doesn't really matter to me, but I will say when I'm plucking on wet hair, I take my time because you can very quickly pluck a bald spot into your lace. So on this wig, I pulled all the hair back because there really wasn't, of course, the very front of the wig, there was a slight pre-pluck, but it wasn't enough for me to separate that section from the other part. So I just went in, pulled all the hair to the back, and I went ahead and plucked. So these arrows right here are basically showing where I kind of like set a guideline of the sections that I'm in when plucking. So as y'all see, for the first part of the video, I was plucking from ear tab to the first line and everything, and then I go into another section where I do from the first angle of the head, and that's kind of where the frontal goes in to the middle part section. So that I just use those lines on the head as a guideline, kind of to keep me organized when I'm plucking and everything like that. Of course, I go back and forth all throughout, from one side to the other and everything, just to make sure everything's looking nice and plucked and like just thinned out correctly. But that's just a way you can kind of keep up with your sections, so you'll know where you've already plucked at and where you haven't. So right here you see I'm gonna pull up that layer from where I plucked. And this right here, y'all, I feel like that's the best way to do it, because if you do it the opposite way, which I see some girls do, where they'll take it from the back and move forward, that's not always the best. Because even when I was learning how to pluck, I used to ask myself, well, how will I not like go over the sections too many times and stuff? And I always ended up with a bald spot because I would always pluck out too much. So that's what I started doing. That's how I changed up my technique. I start from the very front and I work my way back so that I never over pluck or constantly go over the same areas which I've plucked before and everything. But right here I'm basically doing the same technique. I kind of do a section and I'll pluck it, and it's kind of like I leave out like lines. I don't know if y'all can kind of tell like where there's lines and everything, but I pretty much just go in. I'm the type of stylist where I don't like to bald people's frontals. I'd rather pluck less and then need to pluck more later than yo doggone frontal looking boneless and your edges having bald spots and stuff, because I just feel like we buy these frontals so we can have hairlines where we might not have them. So why am I going to go in and over pluck it? But you just take your time. I know this is sped up. Just take your time and you keep going back and forth. You pull from the root and you pull back. I don't go too far with it, but I just go ahead and pluck as far back as I need to, usually around 2 or 3 rows of pulling the hair forward. In this case, this wig was a 13x4, but it didn't have the full parting space on it. So on the sides of the frontal, from the ear tab to like that first line, like I showed you, that was pretty much tracks and stuff right there. And then in that middle section, that's when it opened up to the actual fuller parting space area. So I went more in, you'll see later in the video how I went more in the middle section versus the sides. I didn't go in as far back with plucking as I did on the side. Okay, so while y'all watching me pluck the mess out this wig and everything, I'm gonna give y'all some background on why I'm not leaving any details on this wig in the description box. So basically, my clients came to me a few months ago and she was saying that she wanted to get her hair done for her birthday and everything, and she loves the way I do my colors and everything. So she went ahead and was debating on what she was gonna get done, but in the end she ended up saying that she wanted to get a bright orange type wig, and she wanted it kind of curly and everything. So being that some of my clients, they will buy their own hair and everything, which is completely fine. I work with most brands and companies. However, being that if you're not wanting to spend money on higher quality hair that I could bleach to any color and all that other stuff, I usually tell my clients when they want bright, really vibrant, bright colors to go ahead and get 613 hair, unless it's like a red or something, because you know you can pretty much get a bright, vibrant red with black hair and everything, but you need hair that is going to stand the test of bleach and everything to get it there. So being that the color that she was going for was a really bright orange, I told her to go ahead and get 613 hair, and she wanted curly 613 hair. So that's what she purchased. When she bought the wig and I went to go and like meet her to get it from her, she was saying, being that the quality of the hair didn't look the best and she wasn't really a fan of it, she ended up changing her decision of her color to go with this brownish, reddish, copperish tone, which is why, I mean, I could have did that with some black hair and everything if she wanted that originally, but this is what she got, and she changed her mind, and she already had told me that she was feeling like the wig wasn't the best quality and everything. So I was like, well, it's 613 hair, so you know, usually it can go to whatever color you want it to go and everything, so we'll still go with it. Because her appointment, she gave me the hair on Friday, her appointment was the next day on Saturday, and Sunday she was going out of town to Miami for her birthday and everything. So this is the timeline we're working on. Mind you, I tell my clients when I'm doing custom colors to make sure you bring your hair in advance. However, I will say sometimes I'll bend the rules for clients and everything. She's been with me since I started doing hair a few years ago. So I sometimes will bend the rules for her and everything, but at the same time, I still let each of my clients know every single time my timeline of getting hair to me for custom colors especially is 3 to 5 days. So she knew this, and she'll sometimes do this and everything. And at one point we had a whole problem about that. We're not even gonna get into it, but this is the risk you take if you get the hair to me late. And a risk it was, because at the end of the day, I will insert some pictures. Y'all, why when I went and I painted the color on and then I dipped it and everything, because why is it this hair turned white in some places? This vendor had put filler hairs in the 613 hair, and being that I guess in their mind they didn't think that nobody would ever color 613 hair, you couldn't see the white hairs that were put inside of the wig until you colored it. So the back of this hair, and I'll insert some clips and stuff, literally had white pieces, y'all, like white pieces of hair that were in her wig. And being that the time frame of when she got me the hair and when her appointment was, we didn't have any time to fix it or do anything to it, other than she said she was just going to get some hairspray to put on top of it and stuff, just to try and make it work and everything. and stuff. So I don't have pictures of when I installed it because she's already a client that doesn't really like to be on camera and stuff unless her makeup done and all this other stuff. So I don't have pictures of the install. And the lace, when I tell y'all, the lace itself melted so good for this wig to be so trash. Like, melted so perfectly. She didn't have no baby hairs or nothing. Like, that's how good it was. And everything didn't need to hide nothing because it was that freaking bomb. But the hair itself was trash. So this is why I feel like the lesson in this is, A, get your hair to me 3 to 5 days in advance so that if there's an issue like this, we'll have time to fix it. B, make sure you spend money on hair that, on hair that's quality. We all know that 613 hair is expensive and stuff like that. So spending $100 or whatever she spent on this wig didn't make any sense. And if she spent anything more than $100 on this wig, they literally finessed her ass. And knowing how my client is, she probably spent about around $100 on this hair. But yeah, so that's why no description will be left on this hair. However, right here, this is where I'm basically parting out my next section. But as you'll see, I'll comb the hair back and I'll skip over because that's where the middle part is. When you're plucking your hair and everything, your wigs, you want to make sure that the areas where you part out aren't over plucked. So what you're gonna do is just skip over that area. Of course you can still pluck it lightly, but it's like you want to make sure that you don't over pluck in that area, especially in the middle part, because nothing's worse than having a big gap in the middle of your middle part. So right here, you'll see where I part out the section where it's relatively in the middle. And instead of actually parting or plucking directly in the middle, you'll see me part diagonally. And that's basically to make it where the hair that's parted and the hair around the part isn't super thick when you are like styling your middle part and everything. So it'll still look nice and blended, but it's not you definitely want to go very light-handed in that area. I know it's sped up, but just so you won't over pluck it and everything. And I always say less is more. You can always go back in and pluck more, but you can never, unless you know how to ventilate hair, you can't put it back. So right here, I just did that area very quickly, and then I went over to the rest of it. So just continue watching. Okay, so boom, as y'all see, I basically skipped through the doing the other side. I only did it because I didn't want this video to be 1,000,000 minutes long and everything, just because this process is very tedious and it's very repetitive. So once you see one side, you pretty much seen it all. But as y'all see, I forgot to get in clips of this wig. Like I said, y'all, I wasn't really that like pressed about it because this wig was so raggedy and everything. But as y'all see, I'm just combing the hairs back, looking to see if there's any areas that I want to like pluck a little bit more, just to like clean it up. But that's pretty much how I pluck my wigs. Like I said, I will be posting a better quality video very soon. So if you got something from this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on another video. I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.